Okay, says you're live and action. The long and short story. This is an unboxing, but I had already tried on a similar hat some point last year, and so I made the video about how I had exchanged the Riverina for the Territory. Now, the Riverina ran big, or it was shaped in such a way that the crown, was bigger. So I had exchanged it for this 58 when I already had the Territory in 57, and it's a little bit tight. Now, they say you're supposed to get these a little big and they're supposed to shrink to your head. I don't know how much that's accurate. I was wearing it earlier and yesterday, and it's kind of close, but it's a bit wide on the sides where I can literally fit most of my finger in there still. And but it's got a lot of coverage, and I had gone with the different color just to keep track of which one was which, even though I prefer the darker color a bit. I had added the chin strap. Now, it comes with this breakaway feature, which I don't know what the wind is like in Australia, but I don't think this is going to work for California for a fair portion of the year. We get very gusty winds. We get what's called Santa Ana winds. You heard about last year's, extreme difficulties in, January. So I guess I wouldn't be wearing that hat in that instance with this sweatband if I could avoid it. My solution, I have similar hats with a different hat band. I bought an extra one of these, and I'll use it for, I guess, around town or whatever. But if I'm going hiking in the mountains or something, I think what the solution is to put two holes, maybe not spaced quite as far apart as these grommets, but two holes in the brim. And maybe I'll try and get a professional who can rivet similar to this, so it'll be maybe not exactly in the same spot, but kind of uniform looking, because I don't want to just take a pocket knife and jab a hole in a, expensive hat. But that's where I think I'm headed with this, and use a hat band that goes around the back of the head as well as under the chin for a much better result. And without, I guess this is supposed to keep you from getting strangled if you get caught on a bush or something, falling down a cliff, so that you'll lose your hat instead of, But yeah, I really don't, again, know how much wind this can absorb, because this wide brim will just grab and go. But so anyway, so this one is the lined, and the plastic is, I think, what makes it extra sweaty. I guess a lot of people take out the lining. I'll probably take out the lining eventually. They say you can put the lining back in, but yeah, I probably wouldn't bother. And I was reluctant to take this to Boot Barn. It's kind of bowed out. The leather's kind of bowed out from where I put the clip in, but it's not. It didn't really come like that. It kind of, I manhandled a little bit, and now it doesn't want to lay flat. But I went to Boot Barn and had a hat steamed, and he really steamed on the inside to try and shape it. And I'm pretty sure that you're not really supposed to steam the leather all that much. That pretty much ruins it. I didn't bring that hat in here, but I did show photos of the outside of where I had tried to reshape it. Since then, redoing the crown and whatnot, so you can look at the photos in the community menu. I realize I've talked for 4 minutes now about not exactly the hat that I'm showing. But anyway, this is a different crown shape. Akubra, they make more than one, but they kind of typically make two basic crown shapes. So most of their hats, it's just how wide of a brim you want. So if you wanted I forget what the name of the other hat was. I got a whole bunch of I picked up a bunch of pollen from that tree. I'll have to brush that out. The other basic brim shape, again, the Riverina having the wide crown like this, but then getting it trimmed. You get a couple different models. I'm not sure exactly about the Banjo Patterson, but anyway, so here's the new box, and you've got a little bit of the felt at the top that you can put around the crown, I guess. I think this is just to keep the hat from getting crushed, but it also makes a circular storage device, I guess. And a little catalog from the American distributor, which the whole reason I bought this one is it's a discontinued color or model or whatever. So that's hence I was saving money left and right. And they only had a couple sizes left. So like I said, since I had already tried on the Riverina and knew that this was basically the same thing. Now, the woman told me that the crown shape was higher. I think she meant higher than or taller than the territory, which I already kind of knew that. So it comes with a bit of cardboard, and these are absolute nothing. I think if you're going to use these to try and reshape your hat, you need some thicker, stouter ones. I don't think those will do what you exactly want it to. And then we got this bit of thing. So one of the sizes available was, like I said, 57. And again, it has the lining that I'll probably remove. And this one, it looks like somebody did maybe try to steam it or try it on or something, because the leather is already kind of messed up. Yes, full disclosure, I already opened the box before the unboxing because I didn't feel like messing with the tape and all that. But the only thing I removed from the box that you're not seeing is my packing slip, which I'm not going to show on camera anyway. So there you go. So this does not have the kangaroo band with the opal gem. So that's one of the considerations probably for the American market. I don't know if you can get the full ones. I don't know if you can get the crocodile band ones and things like that, which is the Kulaba, which is, like I said, I think it's the exact same hat with a different band. But this was a good color for, it matches my shirt, right? Good color for March, good color for spring. Decent, again, with the different crown shape with the sizing, I was pretty sure it was going to be a better fit. And yeah, it's pretty much like, you know, I'm not needing a chin strap. It's not too wobbly on my head. You know, supposedly it's going to shrink a little bit, but I'm not sticking my fingers all the way up in there. Just to, because when I got the Riverina, I didn't necessarily care for the crown shape as much. And I already have this inexpensive hat. So similar from Duluth that I've been wearing, but it doesn't have a rigid brim. And it's definitely a less, you know, quality felt or whatever. Although I don't think they're terrible hats, and it fits me better than a lot of my other hats. Like when I buy an expensive hat like the Territory and it's finicky and one's too big and one's too small, and am I supposed to try and stretch that one? Am I supposed to try and shrink this one? I left it in the dryer. I left it after I did a load of laundry. I left it in the hot car, although the car wasn't that hot because it wasn't heat wave yet the other day. But I left it in the car for well over an hour and didn't shrink at all. So yeah, this one looks like it's decent. I might still put the chin strap on it, you know, on days when I really, really am worried about it. But again, I don't know how secure they will be on those days. But I can just wear this one. And so, like I said, slight differences, you know, that you can see. Again, the brim size being the main one, because we're talking a good almost 2 inches, I think, of less brim. And of course, the ribbon as opposed to other hat bands, because again, this is not the typical ribbon that comes with all of the ones that I've seen. But there was another model called, no, my hair is not going to cooperate because the camera is not a mirror, and so everything is backwards, and so it makes it impossible for me to comb my hair. Okay. There was one called the Tablelands that I rather liked the look of, and I I think it was kind of just a modified version of this again, with the smaller brim, because I don't necessarily always want a 4-inch brim, which again got this one because this one was much less expensive and they had one left in my size and came in this nice green color that is unique. And I like things that are kind of unique and, you know, not necessarily trying to look like Indiana Jones or Mick Dundee or whatever every hour of the day or whoever. There was a guy on the hiking trail. I was joking about this in one of the previous videos. He used to always call me Clint, and I was never actually wearing anything that was really like from a Western movie, except for maybe a bandana, because my hat was a mesh Gandalf looking thing from Duluth, and my shirt was a nylon plaid LL Bean hiking shirt, you know, and I was wearing like army pants, cargo pants or whatever, something like that. But to him, that was, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly 100% for whatever reason. That's fine. But this doesn't say Clint as much. I think some people might look at this and see Justified, the Raylan Givens, but he actually had a custom hat done, and then Stetson did knockoffs with a slightly different brim shape. The one thing about this one is it does have the bound edge for whatever reason. I don't think it needs that. I think they just did that to make it look more urban or whatever. And yeah, I'm not crazy about it, but it's not like I'm going to pick stitch, remove the whole thing. I might switch out the ribbons someday, but I don't usually mess with a new thing. You know, if the ribbon starts to get kind of tweaked in storage or just from wear or something, maybe it's cause for alarm and a change. But again, a hat like this, I'm not wearing it as like an adventure hat, you know, in the same manner as like this thing is going to be expected to do some actual work, you know, some double duty or whatever eventually. Although we're kind of getting into the warm season, and I don't know how much. Again, I usually wear the mesh things or the straw things more than the felt things. I wanted to try and give this territory a bit of the go in the hot weather to see how it does, or if it really just makes me sweat a lot more. But again, I haven't taken out the lining yet and all that. And how much in the heat will it shrink to fit and still be comfortable with the leather? I don't know. We'll see. Because I have a leather band straw hat that gets hot and sweaty. And so I don't wear it as much as some of my other, again, cheaper hats that all have cotton bands and things. So we'll see. I guess that'll do it for now. Wrap it up. Keep it short. More boot videos next week, probably. Next week starts tomorrow, but I don't have new boots yet. All that. And I did other videos recently about other things that you can check out. And I did an overview on hats, and I did Justin and Cody James recently that some people have started to watch. As always, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. As always, boycott Tinder. It's a terrible, toxic employee environment there, as far as I can tell. I did activate the Buy Me a Coffee feature if you want to donate to me getting more hats on sale or shoes on sale or whatever. I'm not trying to buy a ton of new stuff. Again, buying 3 hats already this year, or 4 actually, really, because I sent back those other ones. Borges and Scott. Nobody really watched that video yet, but I did a pretty good video about that. I thought about the alpaca and the other felt that they offer. They have multiple. I only ever tried two models of their hats, and the one I thought was probably great for, you know, that purpose, but I don't live in that climate, so, you know, I talk about that a little bit. And the other one fit fine and good to go and all that, and cost almost half the cost of this one, but less stylish. Definitely more of an outdoorsy application for that.